Hi, you're watching Esther from Stampin Style Creations. Thank you for joining me today for my YouTube video. I wanted to recreate this die cut negative card, but rather than doing the sponging, I wanted to try and do it with just a plain piece of card. So I'm going to use some Dapper denim, and I'm using the Big Shot with the magnetic platform and the Everyday Jar, what they called Everyday Jar Thinlits die. The Everyday Jars Framelits Dies is the official title. Okay, so you want to start with your tall sprig and just cut those out along your card. Start with these, and you want them at different heights and at different angles to create a natural look. I find that if you start with the longer ones, it helps you to be able to fit the flowers and then the smaller sprigs in between. So you can hang on to these cut out bits and use them on a different card. Just pop that one out. So yeah, don't throw those away, you can hang on to those and use them for another project. You want to leave a bit of a gap in between the sprigs so that you can put your smaller ones, and also space above so you can fit your flowers. So I'm going to run these through and then come back to you after I've done that. Okay, I've run that through. Don't worry if you go off the edge. In fact, I quite like it when it goes off the edge, just to add the effect, but also make sure you keep that little bit that you've cut away. Okay, next we're going to add the smaller sprigs, and they're going to sit in between the larger ones that we've just cut, and we're going to add some flowers using that flower die on top. You can also add a bug somewhere, so I'm just going to tuck him in that corner there. When you do your die cutting, I'd advise to make sure that your die is just slightly off the paper. On this one I did actually manage to put it on the paper, but I think it looks more effective if it's all cut away. Okay, so I'll meet you back in a few minutes. Okay, so once you've done all your cutting, I've put a piece of white, Whisper White underneath, and we're going to use that then to stamp on with the Jar of Love stamp set. Now to hold it in place, I'm going to get some washi, but I'm going to just put it up against my clothes to take off a bit of the tack so it doesn't rip off your card when you come to take the washi off. Just going to tack the corners down. Okay, I'm going to use the coordinating colour, which is the Dapper denim, and also use the coordinating stamps that are in the stamp set. Okay, just going to carefully do that one. There we go. To help you get the stamp in place, you can fit it where you've done your die cut, and then put your block on top so that you know that it's going to fit in that space. Okay, and just carefully go along and then stamp into the spaces where you've done your die cutting. Just be careful with these flower bits. In fact, I think when I do that bit I'll come and show you just a top tip. I'm just going to finish these sprigs and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so when you come to do the flowers, when you ink it up, sometimes you get ink down that middle section, so you want to either use your finger to wipe it away or get a tissue or something just to take off the ink from that centre bit there, because I found that when you go to stamp it, sometimes the card in between tends to hit that middle section when you go to stamp it. So you might have a little bit of ink there, but it's handmade after all. I'm just going to take that ink off that middle section again and stamp it in there. Okay, so we're going to mount this on some Dapper denim. Just carefully take off that washi. And you can go ahead and mount that on a piece of either the same colour, or we could try white, couldn't we? See what that looks like. So when you go to mount it, what you want to do is put some dimensional foam pads on the back of this top piece here, and that just helps to lift it away from the layer underneath to create that three-dimensional effect, like this one. Okay, so I won't bore you with sticking dimensionals on the back, but hopefully you'll see the end result in the photograph on the thumbnail. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope that will make sense. There's quite a few processes to this card. It does take time, but I think it's worth the effects in the end. Thanks again for joining me. You've been watching Esther from Stampin' Star Creations. I've got some other YouTube videos up. I'm on Facebook, Blogger, Periscope and Instagram. Thanks very much. Bye.